Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. We're going to talk about my new favorite video head that I've been using for the past 16 to 18 months. It is the Manfrotto 504X. Retails on Amazon, B&H, Adorama for about $400. Sometimes goes on sale for about $350 if you're lucky. Now, this little thing on top, this is to support my 150 to 600 that I use for panning for birds in flight or just animals cruising around, landscapes. It's super smooth, no complaints on it. I love it. We'll just do a quick little rundown of the specifications of it, thoughts, how well it's held up for the past year and a half. Let's just set this up real quick. When it comes to the plate on this, just like all the other Manfrotto tripods and heads, they have their own plate that they use. This little thumb, pull down on it. It has locks on there so it won't accidentally slide off or fall. To get it off all the way, there's a little button right here you have to push in with your thumb, then just tilt it to the left, comes right off. The standard plate has a little arrow in the bottom, so you always have it pointing forward where your lens is going, so you don't accidentally put it on backwards. It's nice that they put that there. But since it is not ARCA compatible, I put my own ARCA clamp on here from Small Rig. I did a little walkthrough on this whole setup in another video if you want to check that out later. So then we're just left with the base plate and the adapter. Now I'll be honest, this replaced me using a ball head all the time. I used to use this per gear ball head for like landscape shots and stuff. It works fine, it's a ball head, it does what it's supposed to do, but I just like using one head for everything, carry one thing, don't have extra bits, don't have to change things, because it does slow you down when you gotta do that. So whenever it comes to the counterbalance and the weight capacity of this, it has a 12 kilogram payload for the whole thing, and the head itself weighs about 2 kilograms, so it is a little chubby, but yeah, it's great for what it does, so I don't have any complaints for that. You're not going to get a light fluid head that works good as a fluid head. And you're going to need a set of legs that carries 14 kilograms at least, because the max capacity of this plus the weight of this is about 14 kg. You don't really want to put this on anything flimsy or light. It's not going to work real well. Not going to stay centered. Not going to really stand up in the wind very well. So we'll put this on there. That way I don't have to hold it. Goes on nice and quick. The pan adjustment is now on the bottom here. You get this rotatable collar here for the fluidity, as it's labeled. It's no longer in the middle of the bridge, so it's no longer in the way. You have to reach in there with tiny little hands to adjust it. On the side here we have a counterbalance system, 0 to 3. On 0 there's really no counterbalance whatsoever. On 1 we have 2.2 counterbalance. On 2 we have 4.4 counterbalance and 6.6 kilograms of counterbalance. And then you can fine tune it with this knob on the side, so you can add more or less in between those amounts. And then you have your lock right here as well. 2 different knobs not attached to each other, so once it's locked it does not go anywhere. Then you also have a lock on the bottom here for your panning. It is a flat base, as you can see. It's mounted to my regular photography tripod. Now honestly I love this tripod for this, but it is big and bulky. With the head and the legs on here, it's probably close to 9-10 pounds, about 4.5-5 kilograms. So it's not the lightest thing to be hiking around in the woods with, but it serves its purpose really well, so I can't really be upset about the weight. The Nitrotech 612 can counterbalance 4.4 to 11.87 kilograms. If you have anything less than 4.4, you're going to want the Nitrotech 608. It can go 0 kilograms up to 7.98. I had to check my notes because I cannot remember all this stuff. So if you have a lighter camera rig setup than 2.2 kilograms, this isn't going to work well for you, and it's not going to counterbalance. You're going to want the Nitrotech 608 again. So real quick, we'll talk about the handle. It's 36 centimeters, about 14 inches, rubberized grip. You can take it off and put it on the other side by taking this cover off, or you can adjust it however you want. It's got teeth on there to lock it in place, anti-slip. And it also has airy locky pins in there too, so it works good for that. That's on both sides. Then also on the front right, you have an extra 3/8 socket here for accessories. And if you're using the handle on this side or whatever side you want, you can also use the other handle side for other 3/8 accessories too. So you get at least 2 extra spots for accessories, which is pretty cool. And of course, if you wanted, you could just store an accessory screw there too for 3/8 if you felt like it. And I did mention earlier that the base of this is flat. Now it is a 75mm flat base. Here, we'll take it off to show you. Now I've been using this, like I mentioned, about 1.5 years. The bottom's still in pretty good shape. No wear marks, no chewed up threads. Nothing to worry on that. It's honestly built like a tank. You don't have to worry about really damaging it. I have dropped it and scratched it a few times. A little bit of scratches there for some rocks whenever I was hiking. A couple nicks here and there. It's taken a few hits, but obviously it works great. No questions, no problems. Before I forget, there's extra slots here that you can store some screws in too if you wished. But there's a bubble level in there you can use too. Make sure your stuff's nice and level and stable on your tripod. There is a light up LED button right here for your bubble level. I don't really use it. I don't shoot at night. It's not really useful for me, but it's cool that it's an option that it's there. Now the Manfrotto website claims that you can use this from -30C to +60C, which I never hope to shoot anywhere that's +60C, but -30, probably been in there a few times. It works fine. It doesn't really get gummed up. It doesn't act different when it's really frigid cold outside around -30C. Probably the coldest I've had it was -20C, so I really believe it probably functioned fine. You probably have dead camera batteries before this would probably stop functioning from cold weather. And as I mentioned, I got the Arca clamp on there from Small Rig, so I can quickly swap lenses and cameras. I wish Manfrotto would do like the Arca thing, but I know that's not their thing, so they're probably not going to do that. It's just a minor con, a couple extra bucks. You can fix it yourself with the clamp, and it works fine. Overall, I'd have to say the 504X is a big upgrade from the HD previous version that this replaces. It feels more solid, get more room on it. It's better for people with bigger hands. And as the previous generations of this, they had the adjustment, this, in between the bridge, and it was the most pain in the ass thing ever, and I hated it. So let's talk about build quality real quick. Honestly, it's built like a club. You'd have no problem hitting a bear and defending yourself, or if anyone tries mugging you for your camera, take this off, hit them with it. It will probably KO them in one hit, and it would probably continue to film and work perfectly fine afterwards. Not much to really talk about that. The powder coating on it works great. The rubber grips have held up great. No warping, no drooping, no stickiness to any of the rubber bits on here. The locks work fine. Whenever you buy it, it comes with a 2-year warranty, and then whenever you register it, you get an extra 3-year warranty on top of that, so you get 5-year warranty with this for free from Manfrotto, at least in the North American US region. And some unexpected uses I've had for this is I've used it for 5, 6, 7, 10-minute photography exposures, and it is rock solid. You have no problems with it whatsoever. The wind blowing on it, you walking around it, it does not vibrate a whole lot. Honestly, even for some photography, landscape stuff, it works great for that too. And just a couple minor cons that I've thought of after using it for the past year or so. One time, it could just been I over tightened this lock down here, but I could not get this to unlock at all. So I had to use a hex key screwdriver to take the handle off. Whenever I took the handle off, I was able to reach in there with a different hex key and unlock it using the screw that's inside the handle right here. And really, it only took me like 30 seconds to do that and put it back together. And it works fine to this day. It could just be like a coincidental thing that happened to me. Can maybe over tighten it whenever I took it off the tripod. It's kind of hard to tell. Another thing you might want to consider, maybe the Nitrotech version of this, the 608 or the 612, is if you're constantly switching between lenses, small light lenses, heavy lenses, specifically for the 608 because it counterbalances from 0 to about 8 kilograms. Is with this, when you change the lenses, you got to change this to whatever setting you need it to be on, and then you have to fine tune on this side, and it's kind of a pain. But on the Nitrotechs, you literally just use this, fine tune it in a couple seconds, and you're good to go. And all their knobs are on the same side. You don't have to go back and forth. And as I mentioned earlier, it is pretty heavy and girthy, so if you don't want to carry around a 10-pound tripod with this on there, or an 8-pound tripod, 6-pound tripod, you're probably barking up the wrong tree for this, honestly. You might want to go for like a handheld gimbal if you got a lighter equipment like a 6400 and a kit lens, or maybe a monopod that has like a fluid head on top of it, even though I don't really recommend that. That just doesn't seem like it'd give you the same quality. And some of those get pretty pricey too, almost for the price of one of these if you already have a good tripod. So not something I would recommend, but if it suits you, have at it. Just some quick prices to keep it in perspective. As I mentioned, this is about $400. The 608 is about $500, and the 612 Nitrotech is about $700. So that really puts in perspective how much you do get for this. It takes a couple extra seconds to set up, and it might not counterbalance the smaller cameras. So it's just something else you gotta keep in mind. But also for some people, you don't really care about counterbalance. Maybe you have light rigs, because you're just gonna be having it on the tripod and you're just gonna be doing your thing, panning and everything, holding on to the handle. You're not just gonna let go. And if you do want to let go and you want a permanent scene, just lock it down. You don't have to leave it to the fluid part to hold your camera in one spot, because then you risk bumping it or someone walking by and hitting it if it's not locked down. So really, for $400, sometimes $350, you get a hell of a deal on this for what it gets. Just a quick disclaimer, the links in the description are Amazon affiliate links, and if you use them for any of the Nitrotech heads or this head or really anything on Amazon, I appreciate that. I get a couple dollar kickback from it, and it gets put right back into my equipment, photography, and also if this was at all entertaining and useful for you, give my channel a like and subscribe. Comment down below what you think about the 504X, what you use it for, what you want to use it for. If you have any questions about it, let me know. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Till then, happy shooting. Good luck.